Alicia Andrews is one of the people that was um, who got charged in the Julio Foolio trial. Julio Foolio was a rapper out of Jacksonville, Florida, and he got killed a couple years ago. And she wasn't the one that pulled the trigger, but she was the one that was kind of helping them. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say help, but kind of help because she let her boyfriend use her cell phone, and she knew, in my opinion, and everybody else's opinion, that she knew that what was going on. She knew what was going to happen. You know what I mean? She knew that them guys, her boyfriend and them friends, was going to kill Julio Fulio. So she got sentenced. I'm just gonna react to this right here, right quick. Let's get into it, man.
Whether she pulled the trigger or not, my son would still be alive today had people not participated in carrying out this plan.
So this right here, I think is Julio Fulio's mother.
A mother lives with instinct and intuition, and mine tells me that this was not ignorance. This was participation. It was calculated. They planned it. On my way driving here, every second, every minute, every hour, they could have changed their mind. They could have turned around. But yet and still, they carried on the plan to hunt my son down like a deer in the woods, like they were hunting. This was loyalty to violence over humanity. My son was treated like his life did not matter. He was ambushed and robbed of the chance to grow older, become a father one day, continue his career, and simply live. Every birthday, holiday, and family gathering is now filled with grief. I replay the memories of my son constantly. I think about his laugh, his voice, and the moments we will never get back. The trauma from this loss follows me every single day. No sentence will ever bring Charles right to me, but accountability matters. Alicia family can see her. They can talk to her. She can see her child, but I can't see my child.
Also, granddad Alicia Andrews was pregnant while this was going on, while she was in court. I think she just had the baby maybe like a few months ago. I think before her trial, she had the baby. So doing this when they, killed the guy, she was pregnant, which is crazy. Like you put your child in jeopardy of never seeing you again. You know what I mean? Like it's wild, yo.
I have to go to visit him in a wall at the cemetery. I asked this court to remember that behind every headline is a real family suffering permanent damage. My son's life mattered. He was not disposable. The emotional devastation caused by this murder reaches far beyond the courtroom and will affect my life forever. I respectfully ask the court to impose a sentence that reflects the seriousness of the role Alicia Andrews played in the events that led to my son's death, because she knowingly knew what was going on. Choices were made, and those choices had deadly consequences. Thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of my son, Charles Jones.
So that right there was Charles Jones, aka Julio Fulio's mother, speaking right there about Alicia Andrews knowing about what was gonna happen, what happened. You know what I mean? She knew everything, and I'm guessing she wanted a really, really penalty of her sentence, but Alicia Andrews was charged with manslaughter. She also got the judge, or her lawyers got the judge from the first case that she went to, and when she was found guilty, removed. So this is a new judge right here. Will they go do a new trial, or are they just going to straight up sentence her? And this is what we're going to find out today.
No, Your Honor. Does have any questions?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you. One second.
Judge, that's the only witness that we're going to call.
All right, and the defense not intending to call any witnesses, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so I'll let the state present argument with respect to the recommendation for sentencing.
Yes, Your Honor. We did also receive the defense motion to take judicial notice where they listed, I think, 8 different cases.
I saw that. It was filed in the court file, just for the record, May 8th of 2026.
And Judge, I noticed that they were either manslaughter cases or leaving the scene of death. However, upon reviewing them, we did note that they are clearly distinguishable from the facts of this case. The majority of them were negotiated pleas and had reasons for a downward departure. Some of them were, that was the only reason, was a negotiated plea. Others were mental disorder or unsophisticated manner, isolated incident, and Judge, we would argue that those are completely separate and distinct from the facts that you have in front of you, Judge. This case was originally filed as a murder two. The jury has spoken, and we respect the jury's verdict. They have found her guilty of a manslaughter, but still, the facts of this case are egregious. We are talking about a person who was hunted down. The people that actually pulled the trigger, they're going to be sentenced later and held responsible for that. But what we're asking the court to do is to give this defendant accountability for her participation in this crime. And we are going to be asking for, she scores at bottom of the guidelines, 9 years prison, Florida State Prison, and we're going to be asking for a 15-year prison sentence based on the serious nature of this particular case and the way that it was conducted and carried out, and also based on the mother of the victim in this case also wanting a serious sentence reflective of the facts and nature of this particular case, Judge.
All right, thank you.
So her case is like I said, she was charged with manslaughter. So they can't give her life. You know what I'm saying? The highest sentence I think they can give her is 15 years. You know, but I'm thinking her side, her defense team want to give her just maybe 9. You know what I mean? But the prosecutor right there is saying, nah, give her 15.
Defense?
Yes, thank you, Judge. So we are asking the court not to give a 15-year sentence in this case. We're asking the court actually to depart downward under 921.0026, Section 2B. Judge, in that section specifically states the defendant was an accomplice to the offense and was a relatively minor participant in the criminal conduct. We believe that applies here. We also believe there are some other subsections that apply, but that one in particular, just based off of the jury's verdict in this case, where there are 4 other co-defendants who were convicted of much higher offenses that were actually facing the death penalty. The state recognizes that there was a difference between those co-defendants and Ms. Andrews, and the fact that they were convicted and are likely to be sentenced or will be sentenced to life in this case. Ms. Andrews' goal, after having read all the transcripts and gone through the trial, is very much minor when compared to those co-defendants in this case. So we're asking the court to go below the guidelines. The reason why I cited or filed a motion to take judicial notice of the 8 cases that I did send over to the court is not because those cases are mirror images of this case. This case is probably a unicorn. Based off of the motions that we filed, right, the motions for new trial and the motions for reconsideration, Judge, we obviously believe that the facts of this case don't amount to a manslaughter charge. There was no manslaughter here at all in this case. And that was argued out in the motions, and so I won't go over that. But this case, to find another case that's exactly like it, was not really our intent, but we don't know that would actually ferret out. But that's not really our intent. The intent of filing a motion to take judicial notice of these 8 cases is to see a range of different sentences for people who've been convicted of either manslaughter or some sort of act that resulted in a death that wasn't an intentional act. And so all of those cases, if we go down the list, right, state of Florida versus Vandal Stedman, that individual received 7 years in the Department of Corrections, followed by 8 years of probation. He scored exactly the same amount of total sentencing points as Ms. Andrews. And in that instance, he made a spontaneous statement at the scene to officers that he shot.
So he's basically going up another case saying that the same crime that guy did or whatever that guys were charged with, they gave him 7 years and 8 years probation. So that's what they want for Alicia Andrews. But I doubt that's what's going to happen here.
I shot him, were his words, right? In a situation like that, that's obviously more egregious than any acts that Ms. Andrews is accused of doing or committing. Going down the line, Francisco Vallejo, state of Florida, that was a 2000 case. In that situation, the victim was shot numerous times outside of a trailer park and the defendant was initially charged with second-degree murder. He pled down to manslaughter. He received a 5-year sentence in the Department of Corrections. He had the same amount of total sentencing points as Alicia Andrews at 176. There are people who had even more total sentencing points. Michelle Diane Young, that's the third case cited there. That individual had 180.2 total sentencing points, received a 5-year sentence in the Department of Corrections, followed by 10 years of probation. And all of these individuals that I list, and I won't go through each one, but it's all attached to the motion to judicial notice. All of their score sheets, all of their arrest affidavits, the judgment and sentences. All of these individuals, none of them got 15-year sentences. The state is asking for the max on someone who's never been convicted of anything before in her life. This is her first offense, and for reasons that are cited in the motions, the replies, Ms. Andrews will be taking an appeal on the case, on the jury decision, and the rulings that were made in the trial, right? And so she does intend to have a new trial if the appellate court grants it. So she's not testifying here today, and no one else, no witnesses are testifying here today for that reason. So we're asking the court not to take into account the fact that Ms. Andrews is not on the stand testifying, or that her parents are not on the stand testifying on her behalf. And we're asking the court to depart below the guidelines to give her a credit time served, and followed by 5 years of probation.
Anything else from any?
Yeah, so he want time served. So I think she already been in jail for like maybe 2 years or so, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong. I think she's been in jail for like 2 years now. I think Julio Foolio got killed in 2024, if I'm not mistaken.
Either side before I impose sentence.
No, Your Honor.
No jail.
All right. All right, so the court, having obviously reviewed the trial transcripts, the court file, all the evidence in this case, the pre-sentence investigation report, the argument of counsel, it's the judgment sentence in order this court to adjudicate the defendant guilty, sentence her to 15 years in the Florida State Prison. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. You all let me know when you're ready on Casal, please. Okay, thank you.
Before let me see how old she is. So it was 2024. She was guilty. Okay, verdict reached for manslaughter charge, and she was sentenced. Okay. Well, she's 23. She was sentenced 2020. So when that happened, she was 22. This is her 21. The jury said 21. She was 21 when that happened. So as you see right there, guys, Alicia Andrews, man, she a young woman, um, dated a guy who was a killer. Him and his friends a killer. And I say killer because they killed that guy. They followed him to two clubs, in Tampa, Florida. And they killed this guy at a hotel. I think it was a Holiday Inn, and she knew what was going on. She went down there on that trip, knowing them guys was going to kill him, Julio Foolio. Know them guys had guns in the back and stuff like that. So she was sentenced to 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she should have got more than that. Yes, I think she should have got more than that because she knew everything, what was going on and what happened, what it was about to do, and while she was pregnant as well, I definitely think she should have got more years because she was pregnant at the time. And I'm thinking, how stupid can you be that you're pregnant and you doing a crime like that right there? Even though she didn't did the shooting, you might as well did the shooting because you already know what was going to happen. You was there. You know what I'm saying? Not at the crime scene or whatever, but I'm saying you basically know everything that was going to happen. So this is a sad situation, crazy and wild that she got a kid, and the kid won't see her for maybe the next maybe 8, 9 years. You know what I mean? 'Cause I know you got to do at least about 85% of your time. So this is a wild situation. The four guys who killed Julio Food, them guys got life in prison. And so she got 15 years, and they might also do an appeal as well, her defense team, because he did laid out about four different cases, basically almost the same thing of the time that they got. So will she fully really do the 15 years? I'm not sure. We have to see because they got 30 days to do an appeal. But it's a wild situation. But listen, y'all tell me what y'all think about the whole thing, man. Y'all think she should have got more time, or you know what? She got the right amount of time. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments on that right there.